The Cable, we provide much more than just the fastest and most reliable internet service. We fill the homes of all our customers with joy and laughter. Our services connect friends and keep families together. With the most extensive fiber optic network, we ensure that you can enjoy the things you love with the people you love. Whether it's catching up with family or old friends, or simply just enjoying your favorite TV shows, people choose the Cable because quality shows.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Mark Brantley is reiterating the government's position on its relationship with Venezuela.
What I will say to you is that there is a record that is always available of any countries voting on any particular issue at the United Nations, at the OAS, etc. So this is not like a secret ballot when we vote here in election time. This, when you vote on these issues, there's always a record. And I would invite the press to check that record. Not so much what people say or what people speculate, but to check the record of our voting pattern. That record will show that Venezuela has always been a good friend to St. Kitts and Nevis, and we've always had a good relationship with Venezuela. That is not to suggest that we are not concerned about reports of destabilization and reports of difficulties that are being experienced inside Venezuela.
At his monthly press conference on Tuesday at the NIA conference room in Pines, Mr. Brantley stressed that it has been dialoguing both with the USA and Venezuela, two countries that are at odds diplomatically, but of whom St. Kitts and Nevis has cordial relations.
Our position, just like the CARICOM position, has been consistent, that we call on the parties in Venezuela to resolve the issues peacefully, through peaceful dialogue, with respect for the rule of law and respect for the rules of democracy. That is what we have been calling for. The United States is equally a good friend, and we have engaged with the United States as well on these very difficult issues. I think the United States understands that the issue of Venezuela is a complex issue. It's a complex issue because when these countries were on their knees and our economies were on the verge of collapse because of high oil prices, it was Hugo Chavez that came to our rescue with the Petrocaribe arrangements throughout the region.
There have been some speculations on social media in some quarters that St. Kitts and Nevis, in order to foster good relations with the U.S., could turn its back on Venezuela, a country suffering economically from U.S. sanctions, but of which the Federation has benefited from grants and financial support. Mr. Brantley was keen to point this out, but stressed that St. Kitts and Nevis is on the middle ground when it comes to Venezuela and the U.S.
When our sugar workers in St. Kitts were not paid, it is President Maduro who came to Bastia with check in hand to give those poor people some relief. Those are issues that are not easily dismissed when one is now dealing with difficulties in a country. So we have asked for dialogue. We have pressed, and CARICOM has responded positively to say that CARICOM is available to act as a broker, if you will, between the different parties inside Venezuela. And our position is one of balance, that between Venezuela and the United States, we ask for dialogue, we ask for peaceful resolution, and we certainly do not at all support the recent calls we've heard from Almagro, the Secretary General of the OAS, who was talking about he's not ruling out military intervention. The region is a region of peace, a zone of peace, and we want to maintain that peace in our region. So our position in St. Kitts and Nevis, in my view, is a very middle-of-the-road position where we understand that as between friends, there are difficulties, and that those friends must come together and dialogue at the table of friendship.
The opposition St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party in the past called on the Timothy Harris administration to return financial aid from Venezuela in light of that country's economic plight. Those calls have been ignored by the government, who continues to have a good relationship with Venezuela. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.